Apex pressure washing in the house. What's up, Big Jake, man? How was the ride over?
It was a nice ride. Get on the interstate, cruise along.
No tickets on the way, huh?
That's right. I drive legally.
Yeah. So you just ran the speed limit all the way through?
Well, I keep speed with the other cars. You just keep in line with them,
They going 90, you go 90, huh?
I'm like 85.
85, 87, huh? I once heard that if a cop could only pull you over if you're going not like 9 miles an hour over the speed limit, but I'd heard that, so it was a myth. I did get a ticket. He wrote me at 6 miles an hour over the speed limit. I tried to talk myself out of it, but he wasn't having it.
Yeah.
So man, you've been doing some power washing, huh?
Absolutely. I've been really busy lately.
How'd you like that 72-hour shift we pulled the other night?
Oh man, that was something, man.
I think Big Chris was about to walk out the job.
Yeah, we did a number over there.
I remember falling asleep after that, and I didn't move for about 8 hours. Exactly the way I fell asleep after washing for almost 72 hours straight. You know how like you toss and turn a little bit?
Yeah.
Like you wake up on one side of the bed. The way I fell asleep is the way I woke up 8 hours later. I was just comatose.
It's just the amount of work we did over there.
We got it done though.
Yeah.
They were in a crunch, huh?
Oh yeah, and everything had to be perfect, like no stone unturned over there.
So how's your YouTube channel going?
I'm getting on up there. I passed 100 subscribers. I'm sitting pretty at 118. It's definitely getting some traction.
So you got 118 now in your
Correct.
subscriber? Oh yeah.
I can get the live count right here. Actually.
Tell me what it is. I'm curious.
Okay, so the live subscriber count as of this moment happens to be 119 subscribers.
You gained one. That was that girl's number you got the other day, probably.
Yeah, probably.
The girl from Lowe's.
Yeah.
So you tell her to subscribe to your channel. It'll build up your subscription.
I might mention it here or there.
So you've been putting a little videos out there, or?
Yeah, I try to get a video, if not every day, then every week, every other day. I try to upload as much as possible. It's just like I'm so busy on the job site and stuff. Sometimes it's hard to whip out the phone and
start recording.
Get some
I
footage.
forget about it. Like halfway in the middle of something, I'm like, oh my God, this is making an awesome video. And it's too late at that point. You kind of need to start, explaining it from the beginning. But I just do it randomly. Like anytime I see something I can roll some footage on, I'm rolling it.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason way I'll upload. It might be 2 on one day, then I might skip 3 days. Yeah, I hear that YouTube likes it to be consistent, but that's kind of hard too.
Yeah, with YouTube's, I've heard big YouTubers talking about like the algorithm and stuff, that it's good to keep posting one video a day, keep it consistent, whatever you're doing, and
Even like a certain time of the day?
Well, yeah, that can go into it as well. You got to think about your subscribers. Like they'll get used to seeing a video every day pop up in their feed.
Screen,
yeah.
Yeah, I never really had a consistent time frame. Like people do it once a week, and like they do it on like for example, they upload on Sundays at 3 p.m. But they might pre-record it too. They might do 3 or 4 of them, have 3 or 4 of them in the can, and then that way they can upload them once a week. I never got the reason why. Yeah, what I've always felt like, if I see something interesting, usually I roll it. They get the raw behind the scenes footage. They seem to be fine with it,
Yeah.
I don't have no pretty fancy setup. I am getting a tripod though, and
Yeah.
I want to get a tripod and an external mic or remote mic, whatever, something that goes on your like a lapel.
Oh yeah, that would.
Because
definitely.
like every time we shooting video,
It's windy
it's
outside.
loud and it's like water's flying back at the camera. If we can get the camera away from the action a little bit, that way we can kind of see a broad spectrum of what we're doing. So I need to look on Best Buy or something and figure that out.
Yeah, get like a little Bluetooth mic or something that records your audio right there, so you
probably
can.
inexpensive. Either.
Yeah, so that way you can hold the phone further back and not have to worry about worrying about if it's picking up good audio or not.
Maybe some of the guys that were watching this leave in the comments best kind of microphone, because I am not tech savvy at all. Like the last thing I literally remember in computers was Windows 98, and when Windows 98 came out, this was so long ago, like going on 22 years ago. After Windows 98 went down, my business had took off so much right after that. I never had a chance to look at computers, I kind of do, invoicing, things like that, sending out a quote. But as far as keeping up with it, it left me in the dust because I had my head down for 15 years building the business. Like, seriously, like no vacations, no partying, no going out, no dating, like none of that. All I did for 15 years was like raise my daughter, make money, stack money, raise my daughter. That was it. That was it. Now I'm kind of getting to a point to where I'm interested in starting back, learn a little bit more about computers, but it's so far advanced now. Like, if you mention to somebody like Windows 98, they look at you like you just talked about a UFO or something. They have no idea.
Oh yeah.
And all the iMac stuff that come out, like we just got the iMac computer that you helped me pick out. That's still in a box because I'm afraid to even open it. I don't know what to look at when I'm looking at.
Yeah, so shout out to all the IT guys. If y'all have some tech tips, just leave them in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll help us optimize our audio and our video stuff and bring more good content to y'all.
What I'd like to do is get a mic that's maybe sound cancellation, where if you got, because it seems like every time we roll footage on it, someone's laying on a horn because they see us holding an iPhone up there.
Yeah.
So they're like, bump, and then you hear the mufflers come by, so maybe something's better now. So, fill me in on what you've been doing. I know you're working with us, probably a lot of overtime, about 60 hours a week here lately. Now, you're still doing some stuff on Apex Pressure Wash site on YouTube channel. What about in real life? Have you been doing? Oh, you did do some washing, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've been doing some washing, like typical homeowner stuff, residential. I've been doing a lot of residential. I had one commercial parking lot cleanup video, and I did pretty good on that.
You made good money on that one, huh?
Yeah, that was
excellent. The one where we upped the price at the last minute.
That's the one how I talked about that. Originally, I would have done it for maybe half of what you suggested the final bid to be.
As soon as I seen it, I was like $475 without a doubt.
You actually came out and walked that parking lot.
That was when we walked at night. It was at nighttime, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was after a long day of power wash. I was probably a little pissed off. I was like, just tell me $475.
Yeah, and
but you got it washed. We went in there and restriped it. No, we didn't. It wasn't a restripe. It was a new layout, wasn't it?
Brand new layout, popping lines, taking measurements.
Actually, you know what I did? I forgot about this. I made a tutorial video on how to lay out that parking lot. It's going to our resource page in maybe a week or so. So that's going to be helpful to a lot of guys out there.
Absolutely.
Do you think you could lay one out now after watching us do it and helping us do it for a couple of years now? Or
yeah, like especially a smaller parking lot like that, and the shorter rows of lines, of parking lines, like the shorter it is, the easier it is to make everything fit correctly, and especially like make sure it's all squared up.
Once you have that pattern, you just repeat it. What I like to do, let's say instead of I got like 50 feet of parking spaces to establish, I would take a bite size. Like let's say if it's 500 feet long, I'll just do like 100-foot sections of it. And to me, it seems like it's not so overwhelming just to kind of dumb it down a little bit, because a lot of times you're hot out there. You're on your hands and knees. There's noises around you dealing with math. And that's what I was teaching in the video. I try to, we can use all these complicated equations, and I could teach it, but I can also teach it kind of like the street way.
Yeah, the layman's, the simple way to do it, the short and sweet of it. And it's going to be hot out there. The wind's going to be blowing the tape around, the tape measure. Yep. Like that long tape measure, that's a 100 foot, 150 you got?
I got one that's 100, one that's 300. That can be frustrating if you don't know what you're doing with it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, see where I taught Chris how to do it the complicated way, and he knows how to do it kind of like the shorthand way. Yeah. And now what he tends to do, he does it the shorthand way, but then he'll check his math with the complicated equation, but it's always right. So I was like, tell him, man, there's no reason to recheck, but just go with it. It's right. So
yeah, like the only thing I would say that I would have to kind of do the roundabout shorthand way is the actual diagonal hashings in the handicap grids and stuff. Like any grid for that matter, getting the right angle and the right amount of those hashes.
I always like that end result. Like you take a completely dirty parking lot that was from new construction, it's got all the mud on it, all the rocks, it's got
Rust
building
stains,
material, it's got screws poking up. Get all that off of it, make it spotless by washing it, and then you come back and put those stripes down. And when you step back and you look at it, it's like, wow.
Oh yeah, that new paint just pops on that new concrete.
I've done them and rode by them years later and I'm like, dang, I've done that parking lot, you know. I've actually done parking lots and then like at a new restaurant and then went out to eat there several months later. It was like, I remember even the numbers on the parking lot. Like, I remember this one was such and such space from that one. It's kind of like, it's very satisfying, if you will, or accomplishing, to take just that blank slab out there and make it usable, ADA compliant, and all of that good stuff. And then you see people parking there. It's just, maybe I'm weird, but I get like a feeling of accomplishment from it.
Oh, certainly. And ever since I started working with you and like doing this and doing it professionally and understanding it, okay, I can't go to a parking lot or a place without like thinking about bidding it or thinking about restriping it. It's there in the back of my mind. I'm always visualizing it, and like my mind is just in bid mode when I'm at these places.
My friend is a tree trimmer, and whenever we riding around, he's always got his head out the window looking up. I was like, man, what you looking for, the squirrels? And he's like, no, these trees need trim for these power lines,
Yeah.
So I guess it's whatever you into. If you detailed cars, you'd see a lot of dirty cars on the road, that sort of thing.
Your brain is just hunting for that opportunity.
But yeah, I've been on vacation before and thinking, man, I wish I had a business card on me.
Wow.
Walking in there.
Yeah.
500 miles from home, walking it in there. Hey, we can stripe this parking lot.
Yeah.
So you washing? You got any shingles to clean lately, or?
Yeah, I did a small house. Quick little roof job, just soft washed it with the good old electric pump and chem hose and everything. Didn't have any gutters. I had to watch out and make sure I didn't get any overspray.
You was doing it by yourself, wasn't you?
Yeah, I just went and knocked it out. It was not a very large house at all. On a bigger house, you want to have a ground guy, but if it's just a single story, it's mostly walkable. Let's say you're oh, and that reminds me of another house I did. I'll get to that in a minute. But if it's a single story and it's walkable, let's say you run out of batch and your pump's still on down there, you can put your safety on your trigger on your little chem gun and just quickly, safely shimmy on down the ladder and go
They got
check
those
everything.
remotes now. That's what I want to get from Southeast.
Yeah, I didn't even think about having a remote for it.
It's like a little key fob, I think. Southeast, Cody's got them. I'll have to check with him, but I think he's got them where you just click it on or off, and like you can have it off, and then when you get up there, click it on, or if you have a hose failure, which everybody does at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
Instead of dumping 30 gallons of each out. Because if you pump in 5 gallons a minute or 7 gallons a minute, like in your case, let's say it takes you 3 minutes to get down.
Oh my Lord.
Let's say by the time you realize something's going on, you walk down the roof, and you got to be careful. If you tie it off, you got to do all that.
Yeah.
If you by yourself, you could really seriously dump your whole tank of SH out on somebody's lawn. Yeah. And at that point, it's like Bobcat, dig up a hole.
That would be a total disaster.
You would nuke that just for here to eternity. Nothing would grow there.
Yeah.
You would have to dig that hole out, and that would be.
Yeah,
I love having a ground guy. That's why I got you and Chris there.
Oh yeah, the ground guy definitely.
I've always figured, Jacob, that if we can't make enough money, our net's not strong enough, I'm not going to do it. Like to have help there. Because not only you could fall, you can hurt yourself, the ladder can fall, handling the ladder. It's just so much easier with that other help there.
Yeah, and I try to bid these homes and stuff to where I can pay somebody that is going to be safe, and I can pay them their little money. And I'm trying to find somebody that I can have on, to where I can teach them things and they can keep coming out and be the same reliable guy. That's what I'm looking for. And
same person.
We had talked about so I just got a new phone. As y'all can see, it's one of the latest Samsung phones. And when I went to go in there, I almost changed my number. I thought about it, but I ended up going with my same old number, and thankfully I did, because this other call that I got, the other house I was talking about, was a previous contribute a previous customer of mine, and from last year actually.
That's a good point. If you change your number, you're screwing yourself.
Yeah, like everybody that you've been to, everyone that knows your phone number, you know, and plus my Google is tied into that. I would have had to just read
I wouldn't sell my number for $250,000, seriously. If someone had $250,000 laying on the counter, I doubt I would sell my number. I might would check to make sure, but I think that number, 25 years in business, is that important.
Oh yeah, it's worth something.
So once you get that number out on Google, Facebook, YouTube, yard signs, whatever you're doing, you need to stay with it at all costs. So what that means up front, you need to know before you go put all this marketing out there, make sure you don't have a little prepaid. Make sure you got a rock solid contract with, you know, one of the big carriers. And even if you switch carriers like I did recently, I rolled my number over. And I was a little nervous about it. I was like, oh no, it's like, she was standing behind the computer and she was like, you know, ready to basically push the button. And at this point, I can feel my heart just throbbing a little bit because the way she explained it, the number, once it's released from my phone, is grabbed by the other carrier. But there is like a millimeter of a second there where it's just out in the universe.
Wow. Yeah. So they could, and that's decades of customer relations, clientele. They know who to call. Like, that is critical.
But everything worked out good.
Yeah.
And she was like, all complete. I was like, oh, hurry up, call my phone, make sure it's working.
Man.
I was like panicked straight. And I'm always cool about stuff, but that's how important my phone number is to me.
Absolutely.
Not only to my customers, but to the guys that call me off of YouTube. When they need help, I try to get to them, you know. And if I had a new number, they would be calling just a dead line. So it is important to keep that number. And
I've got it memorized by heart. Like if I ever, you know, I need something like, you know, I need your advice on something, I know who to call. Like, let's say, like your other video, remember that with the tin roof and like, let's say if whatever reason I ended up in the slammer and I get my one phone call, guess who I'm calling?
Your one phone call.
Guess who I'm calling? 985-345-0778. That's what I'm calling.
Yeah, don't go to jail. Don't burn somebody's bushes and go to jail.
Oh man,
no. But this guy, he decided to sit there and argue and fight with the homeowner. Like he left there and got paid and everything, and then they called him back, and they got in a fight out in the yard, and you know, didn't work out for him. You never want to be standing on another man's property and take a swing at him. Because at that point, you just open yourself up to anything and everything.
Yeah, that's...
Like, could you imagine on somebody else's property and then swinging at them?
That's for the birds, man.
That's not... That's a real professional there.
Yeah.
I beat my customer up today. That's horrible. So what you got going on? I know we about to start running our dumpsters this weekend, coming up again. Looking forward to it, actually. I'm starting to really get into this.
Yeah,
you know, it's so quick and easy.
I've got a few people booked up for their driveway. I'm trying to upsell them into the entire house. It just depends on the clientele that you're getting. I've got one really high-end roof to go quote and take a look at. The customer's been in good contact with me, so I think it'll go through.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's like 3 stories. It's definitely I can't do it alone. No way. Yeah. No way.
We could team up on it.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Get Kristen.
Just everybody jump on, get it knocked out, and go get some lunch. Make some big money like that.
Oh yeah, it's all about the quote.
I like those ones where we hop up there and make like $1,500 in 1 hour.
Oh yeah, like that other roof we did with the video.
That was one of them was $3,000. We was out there for an hour and a half, made $3,000.
Yeah, that is.
It's actually $3,150. And then the other one that we did was $2,500 even, but then she gave me a $150 tip, so that made it $2,650. And now that one took about 3 hours to do. That was a little bit hard one, but the big commercial one, that was you and Kristen.
Oh,
y'all and Kevin helped on that too. Y'all sprayed that out in no time.
Man, that kind of money in that kind of time is just like, from my experience, it's unheard of, and like
you're not used to it yet, no.
And some of the guys that call in, you know, and get your expertise and everything, like you'll tell them these things and they'll be like, whoa, you know.
Until they make the money themselves, it's hard for them to believe it.
Yeah, and I'm expecting some more calls. Like, so we actually drove around today and put about 5 signs out at very key locations, and I've been like, I'm the one driving around. Like, I'm filming Billy while he's constructing these courses, and I see his tactics. Like, this is my mentor. I see all of these tactics, and I'm actually, trying to use them, and I've put that to good effect in my hometown. One night I went out and had some predetermined locations, and I placed a sign in some smart areas, like not just out in the middle of town, somewhere, just good locations. And I got 2 calls the next morning. Believe it or not, 2 calls the very next morning, and those both led to jobs.
Yeah,
So,
the biggest thing, you gotta watch out for the sign police. They come take your signs and then call you and tell you don't do it again.
really, that's a thing.
Yep.
I didn't even know about that. Like,
Yeah,
sign.
but
police.
I found these places to put the signs, and they don't get taken, and you don't get the sign police mad at you, and it works good.
Oh yeah. Out of everything, like, I sometimes get leads through a company that I shall not name for YouTube reasons and everything.
They saw.
I'm at home, and I get my advisor on the phone sometimes. They tell me some pretty good places, but yeah, I get leads through them. And let me tell you something, it's hit and miss. If I'm paying X amount of dollars for my leads, I want them to
It's like $30 or $40 a lead.
Oh yeah, it can go from like I think the lowest I've seen is like $15 all the way up to $56, depending on commercial jobs and stuff.
So you pay for. I've never done it. So you pay for that lead, and it could be a total flop.
It could,
and it's money out the pocket.
It is. I mean, you can get it credited back, but if you start, and let's say you get about 50% of them coming in are good, but then those other ones you have to get credited back. If you keep doing that, you're going to have to talk to their phone concierge, and as long as you're cordial with them, they would tend to give you your money back and put it back into your pool for further leads. See, that's how you'll have to string it out to get your full money's worth. And okay, so there's that, and then I also have my Google business page and Facebook and everything, and out of everything, like, these signs that I put out, I've gotten more calls off of the signs than those 2 things combined in the last week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's some psychology behind it too, which we'll get into in another video. But human psychology is a very dynamic and interesting field to look into and to study into. And it's not that you're trying to screw anybody over or nothing, but you do want to understand how the human brain works. A human brain that may be filled with anxiety, may be filled with tons of tasks to do and that sort of thing. Yeah. And they're looking for you, but you just need to be in front of them at the right time in the right place. Otherwise, they're completely ignored. Yeah. It's like, for example, if I asked you, how many red lights did you catch coming here?
I wouldn't.
If you just sit back and try to think about it, you might can remember some of them, but yet you stopped at each one.
Yeah.
If it was green, you went. But you can't recall it because all of that was really done subconsciously as you was driving. A lot of people don't realize, but we subconsciously drive, and it's kind of scary to think about it. I mean, overall we do pretty good. Most of the time we don't get in a wreck, but subconsciously you may drive from point A to point B. I mean, you were conscious during it, but your subconscious mind was stopping, going, watching for intersections. And the same thing with these people out here that's driving around. A lot of times they got 2 kids in the back screaming. They might be fighting with their husband, or he might be fighting with the wife. They might just got chewed out by their boss.
Yeah,
the car might have the maintenance light on. Yeah. They got all these things going on, and then you need to be in front of them at the right time, at the right place, when they are able to receive that data from your sign.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really important.
That's critical.
It's key. I mean, we've made tens of thousands of dollars off the signs in the right place.
Yeah, and in the course, he talks about the way that you lay out your sign. It's very important. That's critical because you can have your line in the water, but if you don't have the right lure on it, you're not catching any fish.
Yeah, I said fish in the deep end of the pond.
And see, that goes back to one thing that, you know, as a beginner, it's one of the biggest things that you're going to think about as a beginner is Billy calls it the scarcity mindset. I looked up in my city, there are 150,000 homes in my city alone.
150,000. You can wash them all if you wanted to.
Let's say half of those people wanted to get their house washed. Okay, that's like 75,000 or so. And let's take 75,000. All right. Well, let's say that there's 20 companies in my area that house wash, and they're doing 365 houses a year, which is impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, but let's just call that a very generous number.
Yeah. Let's say you did 500 a year with multiple crews.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah. If we go 20 times 500. Okay, that's the maximum. That's like a lot of competition, let's say, in your hometown. Right. Just a nice, reasonable estimate.
20 people.
20 times 500, that's 10,000. So there's 70,000 homes. And this is like, this kind of work, it just keeps renewing. Like every couple of years, the house is going to need washing.
I call it renewable income, mildew is.
Yeah, like once I got past that stage of, you know, realizing that there is a lot more work out there and that there's enough to go around, then I just got this sense of like relief and security in knowing that, you know, I could keep this going. Because when I first started out, you know, sometimes I'd go door to door, like I had my little Google ad up and stuff. I didn't know if I was getting work for like a week or so, but now I can barely keep up with the calls coming in and everything. It's like,
yeah, I told this one guy, he was talking about going to put out 50 signs. I said, please don't. I said, you will want to break your phone if you do that.
And like, it's not just putting food on the table at this point. It's life changing.
Yeah, you get beyond surviving, just surviving. Then the next stage is catching up. You know, the way I designed a lot of our teaching stuff is where first you want to have your 4 walls taken care of, you know, like your electricity, food on table, rent, house note, whatever you got, and then start to catch up with some of your past dues, and then catch up with anything that you owe on, because I don't believe in owing in anything if you can help it. Have all that stuff paid off, and then start to save a few $1,000s a month, not a year. Most people only save $2,000 or $3,000 a year all their life. They work 20, 30 years and only got $100,000 in the bank when it's done. Yeah. And you can do that in 2 years in power washing.
Yeah, see.
And when your head hits that pillow at night, you're gonna sleep just a little bit better knowing you got $25,000, $30,000 in the bank versus 200.
Yeah, and you know, personally, coming from a lower income family, I remember we would take vacations, or for my job, I would have to go stay in a nice hotel to get training in a certain area. And I always remembered just how nice the hotel room was and thinking to myself, well, I can have that. That's my goal. I want my home to be on par, if not better, than the hotel room, because that's what I was truly comfortable with.
Like every working man deserves at least a good Holiday Inn type living.
Yeah, like decent, you know.
And you gotta be billionaire stuff.
It doesn't have to be crazy, but once you have that and you're comfortable, it lets you recuperate better. It's, you know, take care of yourself, take care of your business, and it'll take care of you.
Come out with a clean mind too.
Yeah.
I always tell guys also when I'm training them on coaching calls and stuff, if you have a lot of chaos in your life, let's say you're fighting with your girlfriend, you're screaming at your kids, you know, and it's easy to get like that. It's not to blame them. You know, it's easy to get down that road of super anxiety, super panic mode, everything's exaggerated and accelerated. You know, if you got all of that going on, your business is going to be chaotic too. So if you want a good, clean, rock solid business, start with the guy in the mirror first. Clean up him, clean up your language if that's your problem, clean up your bad habits, clean up any other things that's going on. And you know, unfortunately there's guys out there with all types of addictions and stuff. Get all that cleaned up and then focus on you and your business, and you'll see it'll grow exponentially once you got everything straightened out. And I think it's just that whole mind, body, spirit type cleanliness that you can carry on to your business. And when you walk onto a job site, for some reason, some customers can detect that.
Oh yeah, like if you make sure you get a good shower, you brush your teeth, you're all clean and fresh.
Truck's clean.
Yeah,
I thought about that before.
Clean the work truck out, man. I know half of y'all probably look like trash up to the windows. Look like you've been living out your truck. Trust me.
Mine got like that a couple times.
I've got tools in my back seat right now. I'm guilty of that. I've been,
But at least try to keep it presentable.
I get it. Yeah, like
I seen a guy get out at a house, and I was riding with him, and it was a landscaper, a friend of mine. I'm not gonna name his name, but he gets out and he kicks out like a box of chicken bones and a couple of cups. I'm like, dude, you gotta clean the truck out. If somehow the customer would have been walking over there talking to him and looked over in that truck, they would have hired him just by that, So.
Chicken bones.
Yeah, it was chicken bones on the ground. I was just like, I cannot believe this, And he left it. He left it. He did. He picked up the box and kicked the chicken bones, and that was it.
Remember the story you told me? You got called back over one little wrapper.
McDonald's wrapper, yeah.
In the
one of my
parking
guys.
lot.
Yeah, the guy called me back. I'll tell you the whole story. Well, I'm not gonna say where it was because it's a famous place, but we worked out there till about 4:30 a.m. and we ripped out of there about 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Went and put the trailer up in the shop. Got home, peeled my wet clothes off. Been in them for 10 hours. Got a shower, laid down in bed. And as soon as I hit that REM sleep or whatever it was, like you hit that deep sleep about an hour into it.
Yeah.
My phone rings, then it ring again, and it ring again. Finally, I just come out of my coma, answered it, and he's like, "Hey, did y'all leave a McDonald's wrapper?" No, he said, "Did y'all eat at McDonald's last night?" I was like, "No, sir, I don't recall." But I didn't realize one of the other guys did on the way to work.
Oh.
And when he got out of his car, he kicked that McDonald's wrap. Now, granted, the guy was a real anal guy. But, and the parking lot was giant. I don't even know how he spotted it. But, some people are like that. And I asked him to throw it away for me.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was a mistake. I was like, "Hey, could you just toss that in the trash for me?"
You're a helper?
No, the guy that called me, one of the owners of the building.
Oh, no. How did he take that?
He was like, "Excuse me?"
Oh, no.
But I was so sleepy, I couldn't hardly think,
Yeah,
I was like, "Hey, can you pitch that in the trash for me?" He said, "Excuse me?"
That is so important.
He said, "You can come out here and pick it up your damn self."
Even if
he hung up the phone.
If it accidentally blows out, if you open your door and you don't even realize it's there, it's just like, I talked to another business owner. I said, "How do you do it, man? How do you keep this going?" He said, "Jacob, it's like putting out little fires. It's like you don't want to have trouble that can arise like that.
You're always staying on top of it.
Ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure." He wouldn't have been called. He wouldn't have been woken up out of his sleep. He wouldn't have had to deal with the property owner like that.
Yeah, and then he remembered,
Yeah, that's...
And it wasn't even me. So, sometimes one of the workers do it. But so this weekend we got we're gonna start our dumpster cleanings. We got some painting to do. Look forward to that.
Oh,
yeah. Got that to do, and then we're gonna be sealing that big house near the swamp out there.
That's
got
right.
Race cars. So
Yeah.
There's 3 big jobs to look forward to. And then you're gonna
it's more content for you too.
Yep. I'm gonna do some video and all.
Y'all are gonna see that for sure.
We got a little striping job to do, and got a bunch of bids out there too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we try to stay busy even during all this stuff going on in the world right now. We we're trying to stay busy.
Keep your head down, keep on pushing forward. So you got any big plans in the future for your new on your trailer? Any new setups you going for or anything like that? Or
absolutely. I'll be making a video pretty soon, a better setup tour video, and I'm thinking about doing that after I make another addition to my trailer, because
so you're gonna do a whole walk around after you add on.
Absolutely. Like even what I keep in my truck, like emergency backup O-rings, tool, I keep the tool bag under my seat, drill bag, all that good stuff. I'm gonna do a full walk around, doors open, like all around the trailer from point A, from nose to tail, covering all of that stuff.
That'll be a good one. You're gonna put that on the Apex Pressure Washing channel.
That is correct, y'all. I'm Jacob, and I'm Apex Pressure Washing. That's APEX, and I started this channel a couple of weeks ago, and I'm starting to get a good little following.
Yeah,
and
traction there.
When you guys leave me comments, I read all of my comments.
You go through all of them?
Every single one of them. I respond to them the best I can, and eventually it'll get out of hand to where I won't be able to respond to every one of them. Hopefully it gets like that. But, I try to be engaged with y'all, and, don't be afraid to leave me a comment. Tell me what I'm doing, if I'm doing something wrong, tell me, good job, I'm doing something great. I appreciate everything. And, it ultimately leads to better content. And same thing with Bitly, same thing.
So you want to reach a few thousand subscribers?
Oh, that first 1,000 is going to be...
You going to party?
I'm going to do something. And with my setup video... See, I've got a 14-foot trailer. There's some room for some expansion there.
What you gonna put back there?
I'm thinking about getting a skid, kind of like you're getting. That way we can have that capability in case you have like some mammoth job.
Oh, we will.
That you got to have both rigs on.
Yeah, what if we get a big apartment complex?
Yeah. And
y'all can just like work on one end and just meet in the middle.
Yeah, or let's say, God forbid, some equipment fails or some electrical issue comes up and one of the rigs goes down. Well, we'll have that backup there to go fill its shoes in case something happens.
I've always liked to have that backup of everything. Backup set of hoses, backup machine, backup everything.
I've got a backup battery.
Backup battery, yeah. Now with our machines, you could spin the truck around to jump it off.
You told me about that. Yeah, but like,
just unhook it and...
Like I said in my other video, sometimes you're a couple hours away from the house. Let's say it's a night job. The auto parts store is not open. You don't have that resource at your disposal. You only have what you brought with you. So
at 2 a.m.
it's important to be prepared.
At 2 a.m. there's nothing open at 2 a.m. Some of the God forbidden places we work in.
Yeah, and
out in the middle of nowhere.
And that's another thing. Make sure that you have something to protect yourself with if you're on a job site in an unknown area.
Even in the known area, you got to be worried about everything. I never really have a lot of trouble. I think that's because I got all of y'all with us. They see a bunch of people moving around and trucks, headlights, machines running and stuff. They usually stay. Most of the time, somebody just want a dollar, but you always got to watch it. I did years ago. I had a guy come up to me. It was an early morning, and he walked up to me. I knew he was coming. I knew what he was going to do, and I was ready for him. He puts his pistol right up to my stomach, and first he asked me for directions, such street, which I wasn't familiar with it, and sure enough, he comes right out of his hand, right out of his pocket with it, and I was waiting on him. He put it up to my stomach, and immediately I took it from him, but later on I found it was a BB gun. After I took him and his gun, separated the two, and once the police got there, they figured out it was a BB gun. But it looked real to me. It was black, had a wooden handle. Yeah. Just that, just those moments of like 1 second equals 10 minutes in your brain. Yeah, like that's critical. 1 second at that time was like 10 minutes in real life. I was so intense on taking that gun from him. Yeah. But it was a BB gun. He didn't have BBs. So if I would have known, I would have said, dude, get out of here. But that happens. I mean, you pull something out on somebody that looks like a weapon, you know. And
I remember there's this one song, one of the lyrics is for $43, my friend lost his life, Sometimes it's just not worth it. Like,
I try to put my faith in the hands of the good Lord, but also I know He gave me a brain to think with it.
And that's another, use your intelligence, use your forethought. Don't carry large amounts of cash. Maybe carry like $20 on your person. That way you can keep your wallet with your TWIC card and your cards,
OSHA's, all our OSHA cards and all. But you know what my friend told me? He said he'll keep a 5 or 10 in his front pocket. Yeah, just to throw down money. Yeah, just to get out of Dodge.
So once they see that money, that's what they're going after.
Yeah, even if it's still a little bit of green. Now, you got two sides of the argument. I mean, you could hurt somebody, but that's no fun in doing that. Yeah, or you can get hurt yourself.
You can open carry. You know, depending
That's
on
a
the
lot of
area
responsibility
that you're in. And plus, like, I don't like, let's say, you know, we're doing a roof. I got this shiny new sidearm, you know. Those chemicals are going to, you know, let's say my hose, like, I don't want any of that getting on my freshly oiled piece, you know.
I never say what I'm doing out in public, but I'm always very well equipped.
Absolutely.
With or without a weapon. And, you know, and I pray about it every time I leave the house. And that's what the good Lord bring me home.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, coming home, taking care of stuff. Well, Jacob, we're going to wrap this up. I got a couple things to do. You headed back to Baton Rouge tonight? Or?
Yep. I live...
Now, you got a big day tomorrow?
Yeah, big day. So I have a shopping list to attend to with all of the the degreaser and I've got the whole list.
You got some equipment you need to buy, some maintenance stuff.
Absolutely, and we need to check on those belts. Like
yes, I need new belts for one of my machines. They squeaking when I let off.
I got a big night job coming up tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
You know, I should be sleeping right now. I'll be sleeping later this afternoon.
Yeah. Sleep late. Sleep late.
And then
you're in a good area there, so
yeah. And then I'll
worry about.
I'll probably stay up tonight just to keep that sleep schedule in, and then sleep tomorrow, and then tomorrow night go and get that big job knocked out.
I've done that before. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy. I'll be up here 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll be out in the driveway cleaning up the truck 3 a.m.
Oh, my neighbors love me. I'll come home. I've got the rig on my back. Like, coming home, I'll blast my music out my windows. I don't care. Like,
you know, when you work a night crew, but just because you got one night off, don't give you the right to go back to daytime living, because the next day you pay for it. You know?
Oh yeah, but it was a pleasure speaking with you, Billy. Again.
All right, Jake. Apex Pressure Washing. I'm gonna ask everybody on here to go and take a look at you. If they like what you doing out there, hit that subscribe button. I'd like to see you grow that channel to a few hundred people and start feeding them, because I think there's a lot of guys out there like you that's just starting out, that's brand new, that's gonna go through certain struggles that I went through 20 years ago that I've done forgotten about. And there was no camera back then to follow me around, so they can see the struggles you making and be able to relate to it and bounce some ideas back and forth. But yeah, man, it was good seeing you. Be careful on the way back and don't run no 85, man.
I will. I'll go to the speed limit. I've never had a speeding ticket in my life, and I want to keep it that way.
All right, man. We'll see you soon, man. Be careful.
Sure.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to y'all soon.